Action News, Delaware Valley's leading news program, with Scott Palmer, Dave Roberts, Lisa Thomas-Laurie, and Mark Howard.
Good evening. In the news tonight,
we've been getting reports of heavy snow around Boston in the last hour, Worcester the last hour or two, and on up into upstate New York. We've had some heavy snow as well. We're probably going to end up with more than a half foot in some spots, especially these areas that stay snow, that don't get that changeover. Meanwhile, in southern New England, it's freezing rain now around New Haven and Bridgeport. And Hartford, you're probably going to see that very soon as well if you don't already have it. Down through New Jersey, freezing rain, eastern Pennsylvania, freezing rain, and up towards the Syracuse area, we've had some freezing rain as well. Now, around JFK and LaGuardia, you're flying in or flying out, conditions are okay here. Actually, it's gone up to 42 degrees at LaGuardia, and JFK, I think last check, about 33 degrees. So just warm enough that it has changed over to rain. So it's going to be a little tricky out there trying to remember who has snow, who has rain, and who has freezing rain. Your best bet might be to stay off the roads if you can tonight. Of course, most folks can't. So take it slow, snowy around Boston to Providence. Again, the changeover here in Connecticut, and then as you get down into New Jersey, things are getting better here. You can see that most of the precipitation's moving out. Now, a lot of times when you see it moving out on radar, you have to remember that light precipitation may not be showing up on radar. So there might still be some...
Delaware Valley early this morning caused problems for morning commuters, but the big problem heading home tonight is fog. Take a look here, Sky 6 at Philadelphia International Airport, and you can see by some of the haze around those lights that the fog is settling in at the airport, although at this point it has not caused the delay of any planes landing in Philadelphia. However, we did get word, by the way, in checking with airport officials, that some flights leaving other airports, in particular St. Louis and some others in the Midwest, are delayed taking off there. So the advice from the airport is if you're going to meet a plane or get a plane, call before you leave. Now, take a look at the live picture on the action cam. This is the Schuylkill Expressway. Traffic coming out of Center City. Here, too, a little bit of fog evident in the skies, but so far, no problem. You will notice, though, as the evening progresses, especially in low-lying areas, there'll be a lot of fog. Driving could be dangerous, and there could still be some icy spots, so driving this evening, be careful. Earlier today, snow was the problem. It began falling after midnight in most places, and depending where you were, you got between 1 and 3 inches of the white stuff all around the Delaware Valley. With the snow always comes one of the least favorite chores, getting rid of it. Here in South Philly, some folks got out the brooms, and on the road, the drivers found the plow was the best way to clear up the highway. Garden State residents also spent this morning tackling snow, freezing rain, and sleet. Most folks usually grumble about shoveling the snow, but we found one Cherry Hill resident who didn't seem to mind at all.
I love it. I love the snow. I love driving in it. I just love being out in it.
Hey, good for you, Tony. Dealing with slippery roads was not much fun for morning rush hour commuters, but the drive home tonight, again, minus the fog, should be much better. The snow began falling at around midnight in Delaware. Road crews were out plowing and salting the major highways as soon as it came down. Just over an inch of snow fell before it turned to freezing rain at 4 this morning in Delaware. Officials had 4,500 tons of salt on hand. They did not need to use most of it, however. Some roads were a little slick, but for the most part, no major commuting problems in Delaware. Just a few miles south of Philadelphia, but it makes a big difference. Coming up later in the broadcast, of course, Dave Roberts, a weekend preview from AccuWeather.
All right, Mark. Now keep your eye on the Mercedes. The driver's having a little difficulty. His wheels have locked up. The car is sliding on the ice, but the driver manages to get the bends under control. He comes to a complete stop. You'll see, still sliding there, but he comes to a complete stop without incident. He probably thinks he's out of the woods, but look what's coming along. A Jaguar. It's an accident waiting to happen, folks. Oh, boy. The driver sees the Mercedes. He tried to get out of the way, but the Jag just slid right into him. A luxury car owner's nightmare in the nation's capital today. Well,
as student after student fell ill with flu-like symptoms.
How do you feel?
Not so good.
What hurts?
My stomach.
What else?
My head.
If you had to describe how you feel right now, what would you say?
Very bad.
So what do you want to do?
I want to go home.
The illness is sweeping through New Jersey schools. Kids from one end of the state to the other are suffering from symptoms school nurses now know by heart.
Most of them have a stomach virus. Some of them are throwing up and they have high fevers.
Like 5-year-old Lauren Gency, who was sporting a temperature of 103.5.
Well, it all started last night, and And today I'm still sick. I have to go home.
If you could come pick her up, we do have a lot of sickness today.
Lauren wasn't the only one heading home sick. There was a steady stream of parents here and at other schools picking up children too ill to stay in class.
I'll give her some hot soup and call the doctor. Maybe he can give her some medication.
In some parts of New Jersey, there have been so many cases of flu reported that some schools have actually shut down in an effort to prevent kids from spreading it from person to person.
They cough, they sneeze, they blow their nose and touch a pencil, and it's very easy for the germs to spread.
So you're not feeling so good today, huh?
No.
Schools don't normally close for illness until absenteeism hits 15%. But the way this bug is spreading, thousands of kids are or will be trading the classroom for the sick room. I'm Nora Mushanek, Channel 6 Action News, Ewing, New Jersey.
Oh, Bosco.
Fog, you're out in the fog, that's all.
Thank you, Mr. Mark. That's one of our concerns overnight, being out in the fog. We're going to have some patches of very, very dense fog overnight, and the temperatures are going to drop a little bit. In some areas, they'll go below freezing, and that means what's wet on the road right now could ice up in some spots. So those are the two concerns. If you're going to go out tonight, do a little holiday shopping or whatever, be concerned about patches of dense fog and some icing conditions. There they are, the 5 o'clock numbers for this 14th day, a Thursday of December. We're showing 36 degrees above the freezing mark now. We've been that way for most of the day. Relative humidity, can't get any more than that, 100%. The barometer 30.05. It is falling and the winds are calm. Yesterday's high, 28 degrees. Today, we hit 36 degrees. It came at 3:54 this afternoon, 7 degrees, still below the normal of 44, but we'll take it. It felt a lot better. Our low was 24 degrees. Satellite 6 in motion, and you see the early cloud cover. There it is there, the real heavy stuff moving through with the storm and the precipitation and everything else that we had today. Then things are just trying to clear out a little bit. So we're in the process of clearing, but it seems as if it's a little bit difficult to do that. For tonight, we're going to post some clouds and fog and some icy spots. Those are our concerns. Now, some areas will get down to 28 degrees, well below the freezing mark. Others just above that and a lot in between. So be careful, especially in the northern and western suburbs. For tomorrow, Friday, much milder. Look at this, 48 degrees with clouds, and maybe we'll even see some sun. Wouldn't that be nice? Friday night, we get a little more rain. It hangs on maybe Saturday morning and then tries to clear Saturday afternoon. But for now, again, if you're going out tonight, look out for a dense, patchy fog and some icy spots. Lisa?
Thank you, Dave. Well, the Philadelphia Zoo is spreading the holiday spirit out.
Could we be bracing for a powerful winter storm next week? Details next on WeatherScope.
For a scope of coverage you won't find anywhere else, this is WeatherScope this afternoon.
A developing system in the west could bring major snows and severe weather to areas of the country early next week. Hello, I'm Gene Rubin. Thanks for joining us here on the Weather Channel.
And I'm Jill Brown. We'll have more on that developing system later. For now, wintry weather has become a nuisance in the east. Ice-covered roads are blamed for a 30-car pileup outside of Washington, D.C. on the Capitol Beltway. And in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, residents are still digging out from 62 inches of snow since Friday.
It's tough and it's real slippery. I'm a scared fall.
11-year-old Todd Ranta is having his second snow day this week, but it's no vacation. He spent the day shoveling over 5 feet of snow off the roof of his father's business. Why do they want you to clean it off?
So that the roof doesn't cave in.
We want to get all the streets plowed, and that doesn't mean it's going to be 3-lane traffic. We want to get the plows through every street, and what I understand that possibly by tonight that will be the case.
Right now I'm waist deep in snow. This isn't even the deepest spot. We're at a car dealership. As you can see behind me, the cars are still buried.
About 250 cars, trucks, trying to dig out. You know, nobody can look at these cars like this. Can't even see the car. So we're going to be digging out all day today and probably tomorrow too.
But car dealers aren't the most desperate to dig out. These students, like most residents, have been trapped in their driveways for days.
I have a Jeep, and I've been driving around with a lot of my friends and taking people to get groceries or diapers for another friend of mine.
You're a popular guy this week.
I guess so. I guess they all like me, huh?
But for the most part, residents simply shrug off the record-breaking temperatures as just another part of winter in the Sioux.
Well, it hasn't been quite that bad here in the Northeast, but we've certainly had some heavy snow. Of course, you saw pictures a few days ago from Buffalo, and it wasn't that bad there. But in Philadelphia and in New York City and in Washington, D.C., it's just been a little on the chilly side. These are the average highs for the last few days, Monday through Wednesday. Today, though, things have been changing slowly, but we're getting that change in there. Warm fronts headed northward, and that's going to bring us more seasonable temperatures, maybe above normal temperatures. Might get it up to 47 tomorrow in Philadelphia. Forecast high for tomorrow is 45 in New York City and 53 in Washington, D.C. But until that warm air comes in, we have problems. Take a look at what's going on right now. Well, that's Gene Rubin. Let's take a look at what's going on in the Northeast. We'll get back to him in a moment. Snow throughout the region and ice. And this is where we really run into problems. When you have freezing rain, that can be the worst of all possible conditions. Freezing rain now falling around New Haven to Bridgeport. Around New York City, at the airports, actually it's warmed up enough around JFK up to 42 degrees the last time I checked, and slightly above freezing at LaGuardia as well. So hopefully we're going to be able to get those flights in and out without too much of a problem. Down towards Newark and back into eastern Pennsylvania, though, the freezing rain has slowly been coming to an end. We might be doing a little bit better now. Actually, most of the precipitation has just been ending before it's warmed up and changed over to rain. But through the nighttime hours, it's going to be a headache, without a doubt. Here's the latest satellite, or radar picture, that is. Yeah. Baltimore down through D.C., you are in the clear now. As this system moves out, again, nice mild day tomorrow, and then more snow for Saturday, which we'll get to in a moment. Let's take you back and take a look at temperatures. 31 Boston. It's warming up, but it's going to stay snow for the time being. There you go, New York City. A little bit too warm for freezing rain. Good to see. And down to the south, well, this is where all that warm air is coming from. Pretty nice stuff. 73 in Jacksonville, 67 in Birmingham, Houston, 80 degrees, I think the second day in a row. And look at Dallas, up to 79. I haven't seen any reports of record highs yet, but I wouldn't be surprised at all. It's a nice day through here, but we do have a front to the west. It's going to be a slow-moving front. We think we'll see a little more moisture along it tomorrow and some showers, if not a few thunderstorms. So we'll get to that in a moment. Gene?
Thank you, Jill. I guess it's time for me. Rain and snow are keeping things wet and cold in areas of the west. And as some residents deal with the effects of these weather conditions, others are still trying to resume daily routines after severe weather earlier this week. Case in point, in Washington State, the power company is working around the clock to restore electricity to thousands